I said I wanted Americans to have their voices heard. I have done that. I have no regrets.
Nikki Haley dropping out of the race for president this week after winning just one state on Super Tuesday, which means we are likely headed now toward that rematch between President Biden and former President Trump. Let's talk about it now with our panel. Here with us in studio this week, we have UIndy political science professor Dr. Laura Wilson, 2016 vice chair for the Indiana Trump campaign Tony Samuel, and two former state representatives. For the Democrats, former state rep Terry Austin, and for the Republicans, former Representative Mike Murphy. So Mike, I'll start with you here. Nikki Haley will still be on the ballot here in Indiana, but she's no longer in the race. So where do her voters go now? That's the question, both here and across the country.
Well, I think it's really up to Donald Trump. I mean, just as Nikki Haley said, it's up to him to earn those voters. He spent most of this campaign announcing that anybody who votes for Nikki Haley or gives money to Nikki Haley will be permanently banned from the Republican Party. So I don't know how he goes back on that, because there's a lot of people, with 35 to 40% of the Republican Party doesn't want Donald Trump. So who knows? I mean, he's going to have to pull, some magic out of his pocket.
The Biden campaign making a play for those voters in a statement this week, and perhaps also in the State of the Union here, Terry, as we now look at this rematch between President Biden and former President Trump. For President Biden, trailing in some recent polls, this was a big opportunity Thursday night to speak to the nation at the State of the Union. How did he do in your view?
I think he did a marvelous job. He was strong. He had a very clear message. He didn't back down on any issue or from anybody. And
he took that fight right to Republicans in a lot of cases.
I think this is a precursor of what the next several months are going to be like.
Mike Braun described it as over-caffeinated in his words. We've seen that in some circles. Tony, what's your response to the president's address, and how do you see this race for president coming out of Super Tuesday and that State of the Union address Thursday night?
I would agree with the over-caffeinated, but I mean, really he was angry. He came across as an angry, grumpy old man, and I hate to say it that way, but that's the way I took it, and I think more than half the country did. Very attacking and very disuniting of the American people. As far as Super Tuesday, big win for Trump, 14 out of 15 states. As far as the Nikki Haley support, he'll get most of that, and a lot of that was Democrat voters crossing over and voting for Nikki Haley. So Trump, this time around in the 60s, 70s, 80s, I remember in 2016 they would say, oh, we can't get over 30. Well, look at it now. He's going to be huge in November, and he's going to win.
So Laura, given all that and the results of our poll, which showed President Trump leading here in Indiana and Mike Braun's opponents trailing Braun in single digits. Now, what do you make of Brad Chambers telling us this week that he does indeed plan to vote for and support Donald Trump in 2024? He also said so in a statement after the State of the Union as well, though until now, he hasn't really been all that vocal on that front, even as his opponents all endorsed the former president.
Sure, it could be strategy, it could be honest and accurate, it might be both of those things, right? But we know there's going to be a huge coattail effect, and when you look at that polling, it reflects exactly what we would expect to see in Indiana, especially noting there's so many people that still haven't made up their mind about the governor. There are a lot of voters that are going to be coming out and they're excited about the presidency. They may still not know, so this is an opportunity for those candidates. 40%, that's a lot of voters.
Undecideds, yeah, no doubt about that. Mike, what's your take on that, and what do you make of these poll numbers? As we mentioned, a lot of undecideds, 43% still. That's the highest number in this poll, 10 points ahead of where Mike Braun is. Crouch and the others in single digits. What do you make of these numbers?
Well, I think as they all said in their own hopeful way, there's still 6 to 8 weeks to go, which is true. One of the big blocks of undecided, I understand, are women. I would think they would tend to go a little bit more towards Crouch because she's been an outstanding candidate.
And her numbers have been a little higher, as it Braun's in some of Braun's internal polls.
Yeah,
so
and Crouch, I talked to her folks today,
sometimes.
and they said, well, with all due respect to the Emerson College poll, our numbers show a different story. But of course, they won't release them. So, there's so much money right now in the race. The only winners are the consultants and the TV stations, because they can't spend it. They can't spend all their money almost. Every commercial is going to be
a lot of ads.
A lot of ads, and you're going to get a lot of consultants are going to be moving to Bridgewater at the end of the primary.
Terry, amidst all that, how do you see all of this from across the aisle?
Well, I think the next few weeks we're going to see the attacks on each other ramp up. And quite honestly, that's good for Democrats.
Some of the campaigns have already said that's coming soon.
It is, and
Some of
it's
those
not
ads.
going to be
Yeah.
pretty. So I just think all of this party infighting and the factions that have developed within the Republican Party do nothing but help Donald Rainwater and maybe Jennifer McCormick. So
We'll see how it shakes out. Meantime, we're watching some of the other races this year as well, including the 5th district. More mayors and former mayors in that district endorsing someone other than the incumbent Victoria Spartz. Mark Hurt this week endorsed by the mayor of Kokomo. Raju Shintala endorsed by former Carmel mayor Jim Brainerd, with the mayors of Noblesville and Fishers endorsing Chuck Goodrich. Tony, what do you think? Do these endorsements, do they matter ahead of the primary?
Not a whole lot, other than you get a little bit of name ID. Raju's getting some name ID because Brainerd's, and same with the others, Brainerd's endorsement. But in the end, it's going to be the money and the TV ads. And Chuck Goodrich has been on for quite a while. Victoria Spartz will be on in a big way, I'm sure, and she's got the name ID from being the incumbent. So that's what's going to happen. Back to the governor's race. You know, Braun was at 47% in December 2020 or 2022, 40% in 23, and now at 34. Couple that with the undecideds, the 43% undecided. All of those folks, especially when they start the attack ads, are going to have a chance.
Meantime, the legislative session is finally over, which means many of those candidates who have been in the State House serving in the session can now get out there full-time and campaign.
And they've been looking forward to that, right?
Yeah.
It's a short session in part for that reason. They're ready to be out there as full-time candidates now that they're done with part-time legislating.
All right, Laura and the panel, thanks so much. They'll be back with this week's winners and losers coming up. Also ahead, the OBGYN from Indiana who was invited to the State of the Union. Plus, we'll talk with a reporter there in Washington about what everything means in the race for president this year. Stick around, we'll be right back.